Welcome back to Retail Therapy on the Sunday Scaries feed. My name's Will DeFries. In the studio with me today, my loyal co-host, Barrett Dudley. Barrett, it's been too long. How you doing?
Yeah, it feels good to be back. We kind of punted on last week. It's been a little rough go of things, but I'm not sure I feel any better today. The allergies are kicking my ass. I think I read that Austin is like the worst city in the entire world for allergies.
I believe it. Feels like it.
I'm like 99% positive that I read that somewhere, but I'm going with it.
I mean,
it's year round, so it's never not bad. It's just like sometimes like right now, it's way worse.
It's cool though. It's so nice living in a city where when it's not too hot to go outside, the allergies are just absolutely crushing. Yeah, they're just crushing.
No, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was like in the kitchen last night, dealing with a bunch of, I'm sneezing all over the place, feeling the congestion, and pretty much exactly that crossed my mind, except for it crossed my mind in the most retail therapy way imaginable, which was, I thought to myself, it really sucks that when I can get the best fits off, I don't feel that good. Just for the 3-month stretch. It's just like,
I don't want to wipe my sniffles on my cashmere sweaters.
Exactly. I'm not feeling a hundo P, and yet I just look layered up and glamorous, and it's like, it's not the way I feel on the inside. And that is unfortunate, but
you don't feel layered up and glamorous inside.
Hopefully it calms down though, or I don't know.
Yeah, we apologize for missing last week, but neither of us felt great. And I do think there's truth to you saying that I think both of us might feel worse today than we did before, but no ifs, ands, or buts. We're getting this episode done today.
Yeah, we got to get this pod off. I do think I feel a little bit better than I felt last week.
Yeah. I got to enjoy some nearly perfect LA weather this past weekend. Now that I know what early November feels like in LA, this might have to become something that is a regular trip in the rotation because it was amazing.
Well, I'm pretty sure if you and I go on a trip to Southern California together and then talk about it on the podcast, everything we do, spend, or take on, that's what's called a write-off.
That's expense.
So, that's I think just something to consider.
I think there's a case to be made that when we do our wish list at the end of the episode, that we should be able to have a certain amount of money that we get a slush fund, if you will, for the wish list. I think it would be justified that we get to at least get one thing off our wish list at the end of the year.
I'll say this. Apparently, I don't know if you've noticed this, but on all the peer-to-peer payment platforms, Venmo, PayPal, whatever, if you have certain credit cards, you are now getting charged a cash advance fee.
Oh, cool.
If you use your credit card, and for all of that type of stuff, if you have a business account on PayPal, if you sell things on eBay, all of these platforms are now going to send you a 1099 miscellaneous for income that you've made if it's over $600, something really, really low.
Very cool.
And since everything that I sell on there is out of my personal wardrobe and almost uniformly sold at a loss, I don't flip a whole lot of things, something here and there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that just means I get to write off every single piece of clothing I buy now.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to.
So
that's how it works.
If we have any tax accountants listening out there, please chime in. You can DM us directly and just confirm that's something I can do. Thank you.
Once that confirmation comes through, I will be adopting this strategy. I've just been a little lazy on the selling stuff front. I have these wave runners that I have worn exactly 2 times in my life, and I told Sally a few weeks ago. I said I think I'm going to wear these wave runners more this fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out I'm not going to anymore.
Well, Kanye went all, he did the whole anti-Semitism thing, and
it's now I can't even go around and flip these sneakers because I'm not gonna be able to stomach whatever I sell them for less.
I don't know. I heard that maybe price of the Yeezy was going up.
These don't even fit well
after Adidas, cut ties.
Because you can't get them anymore?
Because people know that they will never make them again. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's true or not. I haven't done the research.
It'll eventually be true.
But probably eventually.
He's gonna put out a record that no one wants to admit that they loved, and then suddenly his shoe price is just gonna go off the charts.
Yeah. That's definitely possible. But this is, I feel
far-fetched.
It's the whole Kanye thing, it's a lot harder to overcome than say, the time that Travis Scott killed a bunch of kids at his concert, and then he just like kept releasing fire ass Nikes, and we were all like, "Yeah, it's fine. We're over
no one talks about the Astro World stuff anymore.
Yeah, no,
I don't think
it's over.
It's
Because
kind of
you can let some kids die at your concert, but you can't get all racist with it. You know what I mean?
like, dude, that got swept under the rug real quick, real quick. Yeah, people don't really talk about that.
He got
anymore.
shelved for like a solid 6 months, but that's the type of thing that you can overcome. This whole Kanye thing, I'm not sure that this is overcome.
Yeah, I'm kind of just ignoring everything. I think I actually might have muted him.
Yeah.
I would say that I would say that he was already suspended from all these things, but I'm pretty sure every time I hear that he gets suspended from something, he's still on there. His account has never disappeared.
Right.
You can still look at all the posts that got him in trouble, or you could, but he's an archive boy.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of people lately operating with the archive button on Instagram. A lot of people only have like 6 to 9 photos on their grid.
Okay.
And they're just operating solely from stories and just doing like a recency thing on the grid.
Yeah.
This is something that I kind of like pitched to Sally that I do over a year ago. And now that I'm seeing it in play, I'm kind of like into it.
Okay.
I think it'd make me more free with what I'd post.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, is that something you're going to go for?
No.
No.
I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy on my personal Instagram at this point. Like I'm doing too much work like on the Scaries account, like retail therapy, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That like the personal's just fallen by the wayside.
Plus, if you delete all of your like your big back catalog, then you never have the opportunity for somebody to accidentally double tap something from like 2016.
That's true.
Thereby knowing that they were creeping and scrolling all the way back.
That's a good. That's a good call.
Yeah, you've got that. Like that's just a net that's trolling out there.
I don't even think like I'd get creeped out if someone did that to me at this point. No, I'd feel so flattered if that just came through.
Yeah, totally.
But really, only if like if an old friend of mine just was like clearly creeping me, I'd be like, dude, thank you so much.
Just running back in the archives, just reminiscing to themselves.
Just be like, hey, you miss me?
Do you think this has something to do also like this feels like it might go hand in hand. I was listening to the new Drake 21 Savage album, which is just like millennial.
I haven't dipped in yet.
Injected into my veins rap. And 21 talks about how he like only texts on vanish mode now.
Wow.
I don't send anything on vanish mode, but I heard that line and I was like, I gotta start sending stuff in vanish mode.
I don't even know how it works. I always accidentally swipe up and do it, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, do I look sketchy by accidentally doing vanish mode right now?
Definitely, but like, that's how you that's
such an unnecessary flex. That sounds like something that's going to be from the Perfectly Imperfect newsletter. Like, oh yeah, what's cool these days? Vanish mode.
No, it does actually, but we that's what 21's doing. So he might be setting the trend there.
No, actually, let's just dive right into our first topic here, because something I want to talk about is related to this. But before we do, please make sure to go follow Retail Therapy on Instagram at retail.pod. We're doing absolute numbers, Barrett. Also, you can watch all of these episodes on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Sunday Scaries podcast. Go subscribe there, go watch. And listener companions will be dropping on willdefreeze.substack.com after every single episode. So if you need some links to the things that we talk about, if you want to read some articles that we reference, everything will be right there for you. And if it's not, just hit us up. We're nice guys. We'll respond to your Instagram DM most of the time if it's a big concern. If you're asking me like what the shoes were that we talked about, like you just might need to use a Google machine every once in a while, but we try to be efficient with it. Our first thing that we're talking about today is an article that I read in the New York Times recently in their Scene City section.
Yeah.
Apparently that's a thing under the style thing. It's called What the Cool Kids Are Super Into. And the second I read that headline, I thought, well, we're going to talk about this. It says Perfectly Imperfect, a cult newsletter for downtown tastemakers, held a raucous party in Brooklyn.
Now, when you first read this headline, What the Cool Kids Are Super Into, your initial reaction was, oh my God, Club Cool, even though it hasn't put out a podcast in 3 months, has officially blown up. The New York Times is reporting on it because the cool kids, that's what the Club Cool listeners. Yeah. That's what we call it.
I was excited. I was like, man, they must have been in Austin, like just hanging out, and they just started just interviewing everybody.
No, but for real, this is funny because I don't know how anybody ever felt about the name Club Cool or how I ever felt about it, to be completely honest. But this quote here, what the quote unquote cool kids are super into, like that's literally like that is the name Club Cool was a tongue in cheek kind of
Yeah.
jab at this whole concept of anybody just like thinking or labeling themselves as, like self-ascribed cool kids.
See, I mean,
You
I
can't
think
because
I think of that as the same thing as calling like oh, she's an it girl.
uh-huh.
But like I want to start referring to ourselves as it boys
It
just so
boys?
that people are like, "Oh yeah, he's an it boy."
Yeah.
Like
But then they're going to be like, that's like, there's the whole, subculture of people that are super into Stephen King's novel
yeah, I don't want
about a
that.
scary clown called Pennywise.
That would be devastating.
And they already call themselves the It Boys.
They do?
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, we can't have a meetup where everyone shows up wearing like clown makeup because I think it's like a clown thing because that would rattle me a little bit.
Yeah,
That's actually
yeah.
my worst nightmare.
Just like a festival that's like the It Boys and the insane clown. What are they called? The insane clown posse. What's it?
Juggalos?
Juggalos. Yeah,
Yeah.
Juggalos and It Boys.
Like we think we're gonna have a bunch of dudes showing up wearing like ALD, Ding, and Noah, and then like a bunch of people show up just rocking like clown clothes. That'd be devastating.
Yeah, that.
Well, Perfectly Imperfect
yeah.
is a Substack newsletter, which, to be honest, I think that what the cool kids are super into these days is Substack newsletters.
You're right. You're right.
Like every single person has one. As
You've got one.
I started reviewing Perfectly Imperfect, and like their newsletter is incredibly engaging.
Okay.
Some of my favorite content that I'm reading these days is this, mainly because if that content finds you if you have the Substack app. This is not an ad for Substack. But like you just get an alert on the app that, oh, blah, 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 put out a new post. And it's like the easiest thing in the world to just do it.
Okay.
It's not like those New York Times notifications where you just get so many that you don't even read them anymore.
Yeah.
Like these are so few and far between that I'm into it. And so what they did was they asked a bunch of people at this party what they are into these days. And I was getting a lot of, so I guess to set the scene, the Perfectly Imperfect newsletter just interviews people and they say what's cool or what they're into, what they're digging lately, whatever.
Okay.
They talked to Harrison Patrick Smith, 26, an indie pop prince per him. He's so cool that he's not even into Taylor Swift's new album. He's still just listening to August on repeat.
To be fair, he does say that he likes the song Karma, which I think notably both you and I have as like a top 3 song off the album.
It's my number 1.
Okay.
I love it.
And so just saying, we're right there. We're right there with Harrison Patrick Smith, age 26. But right now what he's really feeling is the deep cut August.
I over listened to the entire Folklore album, so August is officially out of my rotation for a little bit until I get nostalgic for like pandemic times again.
Okay.
Angel Prost, half of Frost Children, the hyperpop band with Lulu Pro. Like, just
I've been really into hyperpop lately.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, hyperpop's kind of like it's kind of a wave that I've enjoyed being on lately. I want to read all of this in Stefan voice, but I just don't feel like committing to a bit that hard. Like this, I can't believe they actually allow this. She's he or she, I don't know. They're into wardrobing. Said that they're buying clothes from the Dover Street Market for special occasions and shoots, and then just returning them. They let you do it too.
Okay. Angel/Angel, they not true. Dover Street Market is not letting any schmuck off the street walk in and be like, "Hey, I've got a big birthday dinner tonight. We're splurging on Nobu, and I would really like to take home like a couple of Kiko Kostatinov pieces and then bring them back tomorrow. So just let me take this $3,500 bomber jacket and these like massive baggy cargo pants, and I promise I will not stain them or spill on them, and I will bring them back in perfect condition on Monday." No, they're not letting you do this. Maybe for Angel Prost, 24, half of Frost Children, because she's like on stage and promoting product and like all that. But like, no, they do not let you wardrobe. They don't let anybody just come in there and wardrobe.
No, like, and the idea that you could just walk into somewhere in New York City and do this, like, I just don't see that going over well. As someone who used to work in retail, this would have pissed me off so much. The extra work that you have to go through as a retail employee in order to make it seem like nothing ever happened if someone did this, it's just not something you feel like doing. I don't want to ring you up knowing that you're just going to return it. And then I don't want to put tags back on it, inspect it for damage after your night out.
The shoots thing is one thing. And I can say, like, when I worked at By George, Austin's local high-end boutique, like, there were a select group of stylists that we would let come in and do this type
That
of
makes
stuff
sense.
for shoots.
We would offer, like, if people were doing photo shoots around their home, like, we would allow certain people to come in and take certain things out just to make it look good and then get credit for whatever. But like, yeah, if I'm trying to go get like a sushi dinner off, like you said, like, I'm not just gonna walk. I feel guilty as the consumer doing that.
So, okay, this actually does lead me to another question though. And I don't want to put you on the spot, so you don't have to answer anything in kind of
We've already exposed that we're not cool kids.
in explicit terms. But have you ever done anything like? Have you ever kind of tricked a retailer a little bit? Not returned something that you've worn. I think everybody has probably done some, kind of semblance of that. Even if you wear something one time, maybe you have it on for an hour. You're like, it didn't really work out. You take it back. Sure, it's whatever. But what about like, you get something on sale from one place, the size is wrong. You order the other size from another place, and then you return the size that didn't work out.
I have never done anything like that. I'm too lazy.
I've certainly never done anything like that either, but
I'm too lazy to return pretty much anything in the first place.
I think people are doing a lot of this wardrobing on the side.
Probably.
Like that type of little like.
I did once buy an overpriced shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I woke up the next day after going to a Widespread Panic concert, and I had like just an all-time bad hangover, and I was like, I'm just gonna lounge in this new shirt all day and love it. And then as the day went on, I started to feel worse and worse about how much the shirt cost. And so finally, I took it back to where I bought it. And I'm sure it still smelled like me, but it was a place that accepts a lot of returns. So I was like, I'm not too worried about it. I felt guilty about simply doing that.
Yeah.
I lounged in it for like 6 hours watching the Masters. And I just, afterwards, I was like, I can't keep this shirt. It's out of my price range.
Real quick, I want to come back to Tyler Bainbridge, the newsletter's 27-year-old founder. This is a quote from him as we make our way through what everybody's into here. I don't want to seem full of myself or anything, but Perfectly Imperfect will probably be the most sprawling cultural document of who and what was cool during the time we're in right now. I've not read this newsletter. I've heard the name, but I'm not familiar with it. You say the content is good and engaging, so I'll believe you. But God, that's an obnoxious quote.
I said, maybe I did say that, and I don't know if I can hang my hat on it. But what I can say is that the content that they have on Perfectly Imperfect is content that is interesting to me because I can make fun of it in my own head and laugh at certain things that probably shouldn't be laughed at. He also went on to say when they asked him what he was into, he just said Chloe Cherry from Euphoria. He said, Chloe is a friend of a friend who knew her before she kind of exploded. Like, I'm sorry, that's kind of simpy, being like, oh, right now I'm obsessed with my famous friend of a friend. Like, I hope she sees this, Tyler. I hope she sees this.
Yeah.
I could pretty much guarantee that after the last 10 minutes of this, that I don't think we're gonna get the nod to get interviewed for Perfectly Imperfect.
No,
I mean Natalie Miano, 27, is really into Third Eye Blind right now.
Okay, same. I will. This is the last one that this is the last one, right? Natalie Miano. Same, Natalie. And I sometimes I feel like I do honestly think, I will vouch for this. I do feel like Third Eye Blind has like a niche cultural cachet that is very, very, like, some people. I'm not going to call them polarizing, but you're either like pretty meh on Third Eye Blind or you fucking love Third Eye Blind, and I definitely fall into the latter camp. This is an aside, but very relative. Before or after all Texas football games, depending on the kickoff time. If it's an evening game, it's before. If it's an early game, it's after. They have this thing called Longhorn City Limits, which is a free concert series that they do out on the lawn, right next to the stadium, basically. And they've been crushing the guests, the artists.
I know. I haven't been this year, but it sounds like every guest has been good.
So I went and saw Nelly a few weeks back.
How did that go?
And it was amazing. I'm sitting up here almost 36 years old. I can tell you that I got about 40 feet from the stage, 30 feet maybe, and was just like screaming Grills and Air Force Ones at the top of my lungs.
Nice, sounds great.
And it was amazing. And that's what all the mid-30s surrounding me were also doing. I didn't think they could top Nelly. And they just announced last week that before the UT game versus TCU this Saturday at 6:30 p.m. College game day coming back, by the way, the LCL, the Longhorn City Limits Act, Third Eye Blind.
I mean,
I'm going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of shaping up. I think I'm going to make it to this game.
Like this is amazing. Like this is amazing. But
somebody sold me on this last night. I have a dinner reservation at a restaurant that's hard to get a dinner reservation at in Austin, Texas right now.
If it's not ABBA, I don't care. Cancel it.
It's Conjay.
Oh, okay. No, that is a tough one.
It's a late one.
How late?
After 9 p.m.
Oof. Yeah. Yeesh.
And I'm thinking about canceling it to go to the game. And part of the reason that I was considering this is because someone said to me last night, Will, it's going to be a cold weather game.
It is.
Imagine what you can
It
wear.
is.
And
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
you know what? It's sad that the reason I want to go to this game is so I can wear comfy clothes outside.
Put a pin in that, because when we get to wish list, that exact topic's going to come up again.
Perfect. Well, to put a little bow on top of this, like it's just great. Like there's a big question for me. One, I think that these type of newsletters, especially ones where you can utilize your friends for free content in order to monetize your life, like I think we're going to see a lot more of this. I've actually thought of doing this on the Substack, like just having a friend write out like 10 things they enjoy lately, or like what they've been doing on their Sundays, like panic room essentials, things like that. And like, I honestly think it's a decent idea.
I love lists.
Mhm.
I like
Everyone does.
And I
They're
like
great.
and I like reading stuff like, GQ will interview a famous person. It's their 10 essentials, right?
Yeah.
And so that's an iteration of that, basically.
It's smart.
And like you said that's what you said, is that the content was engaging, and I totally agree. It's fun to that type of content. It's always interesting to hear what other people are into right now,
Mhm.
especially if somebody else is vouching that they like good things,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Getting that endorsement.
that is that's definitely a compelling kind of bit, even though just saying Goots Gooderman 25, he said that he was into weather reports. I don't know.
What are we doing here? Mark Hunter said $1 slices. I'm into the Indie Sleeves revival. Unsweetened iced tea from McDonald's, riding city bikes, wet cupping, and $1 slices of pizza.
Yeah, I think Goots here, he tried to make weather forecasts really indie. So he said, as a meteorologist in training, I think weather forecasting is cool because it's largely universal while at the same time hyper local.
Yeah, but
their weekly weather reports are fascinating and strange. You're placing something so specific, but it's not there yet. And I think it's not that deep, bro.
It's not resonating with me. I prefer just to look at my phone and see if it's raining or not outside, and see if it's going to in the near future, and then I don't think about it anymore. Like, unless you're getting these hand delivered by like written out by some like person with a quill pen, like you can't be this obsessed with weather reports.
Yeah, but it does make me think. We talked about this a few weeks ago. I think that when we looked at lists of who was the Instagram account that put out
I don't remember
their in list and out list.
I forget.
We need to do something before the end of the year. We need to put out like just a list of what we're into.
No, you and I need to I think we're actually overdue. I think you and I need to sit down and come up with like our very perfectly imperfect list of cool things that we're into. I mean, can I tell you the most recent person that they had on Perfectly Imperfect newsletter?
Please do.
Anna Delvey. That's some pull.
Yeah.
If anyone's wondering, she's currently into Lucy and lunch delivery. I think because she's on house arrest, which is funny. First Dibs, the Pairs Review, her lawyers. Shout out to her lawyers. Like, what are we doing here? That's a good bit that she said food delivery from this, like, whatever it is. Good for her.
Yeah.
Barrett, there's something that I've been seeing a lot of content surrounding lately. And I think it's something that we've actually talked about before on this show, but it's something that I think that there's a big separation with. And this is beanies. Not Beanie Babies. I do still have some Princess Dianas if anyone out there is trying to buy them off me, but I don't know if you can afford them with the price I have on there.
Sure.
But my timeline, especially as of late, because we are in that time of year, has just been a lot of beanie content. I'm not getting marketed beanies. I'm not getting like told I need beanies. I'm just seeing beanies freaking everywhere. And this all culminated when I was reading a New Yorker article that we have included called "I'm a Tiny Beanie and This Is My Modern Life." The first question I'm going to have for you, Barrett, is where do you stand on the tiny beanie?
Yeah. Okay. So I see the tiny beanie out there, and I understand its appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Like certain type of guy, right facial features, cool sunglasses, like I get it. Like it looks cool. Um, it's not for me. What I because I don't personally find beanies all that comfortable
Mm-hmm.
necessarily.
Okay. Okay.
And when you do the tiny beanie thing where you're not covering your ears, you're wearing it more like a ball cap, as in it's just like a piece of headwear that you are not really intending to take off your head.
Correct.
And a beanie for me is always more about function. So now I like the way they look. I buy way too many beanies, honestly, because like living in Austin, Texas, you really need like 2 max.
Max.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with it. Now, sometimes what I do is like I'll take my normal beanie, and if I'm not going to take it all the way off, I just kind of like pull it up a little bit off my head, so it's not.
That's what
covering
I'm
my
more
ears.
likely to do.
But the fact of the the tiny beanie, the watchman's cap that is like glued on top of your head, but still somehow doesn't cover your ears, it's not for me.
What I found is that the comfort level of people down here, and by down here I don't mean just in Texas, I mean
Down
in
here.
warm weather states.
Yeah.
There's a resistance to beanies that I never experienced until I moved down here. And I think that's probably because obviously they're not as utilitarian down here. I don't own a tiny beanie. I don't hate the look. In saying that, I don't understand why some people hate the look so much. It's a very polarizing look for some people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm the opposite of you. I think it's actually more comfortable to wear a beanie, kind of like pulled, like no matter what kind of beanie it is, actually. I think it's more comfortable for me to wear a beanie than is a baseball cap for some reason.
Okay.
And I don't really have an explanation for that. It might just be because of, enduring a lot of winters and spending a lot of winters with a hat on.
Yeah.
There are some really good
I think
tidbits.
you're just built different. You've got that Michigan blood. I've got that Texas blood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're literally just like, we're riding different waves in this respect.
Exactly,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This guy wrote an article. His name is Tyler Watamanuk. I don't know how to say it. November 1st, 2022. And it was titled, "I'm a Tiny Beanie and This Is My Modern Life." And he goes in and he says, he almost ats just not only us, but just retail therapy listeners in general on a couple of these. It says, I spend much of my year waiting in a drawer. It gives me a lot of time to think. You see, my busy season starts with the fall and doesn't end until spring. And at any moment now, my human will pull me out, place me on top of my head, and wear me every single day. And as somebody who has an area in their closet that's just stacks of beanies, there's going to be a time for pretty much every time in my life that I grab one of these beanies where I think about that opening paragraph. And I'm like, yep, this thing's just been chilling here. Ever since I had Fritz, I've been assigning emotions to inanimate objects like I did when I was a little kid.
Uh-huh.
I've been like positioning his stuffed animals in a certain way, like making sure his shoes are like all organized so they don't feel out of whatever. But like the way that he talks about sometimes after a particularly long day, I confide in my colleagues in the drawer back home.
Yeah,
double knee pants and chore jacket. Do they struggle with imposter syndrome too? My human has a computer job in a fancy office, so why does he insist on wearing or dressing like a rugged tradesman? There was also a tweet put out today by Derek Guy of, I forget the name of the publication that he works for, who's a fashion Twitter guy. And he put out something about how all the podcasters are dressing like farmers. And I think that's a valid criticism.
Yeah.
I'm not dressed particularly farmer today, but there are days when I skew farmer.
Yeah. Derek is a great Twitter follow, and honestly, I'd love to get him on the podcast. He's been volume shooting on Twitter recently, which it has been hit or miss for me.
He and I have some differing opinions on things, and I feel bad saying this because like he is a really good follow, and he knows his stuff. But
yes.
He and I are riding different waves, and some of the things that we've ridden different waves on in terms of his timeline are things that like are non-negotiable for me. I'm not going to bring up any right now because I don't think they're worth bringing up. But some of the takes that he has, I'm sitting there and I'm like, ooh, I don't like this one bit. Like he's good at social media, and that like he brings out some anger in me sometimes. Where I'm like, what's your problem?
Like, that's probably a good thing that he's got strong takes. You got to have an opinion. You got to have a voice out there to stand out from the crowd.
I also think sometimes he tweets something and I'm like, fuck, I wish I would have tweeted that first. Like that is such a good use of that photo.
But so on this farmer one, like I don't know if I totally get that. Like what does dressing like a farmer look like? That's like, isn't that like overalls and like a plaid shirt and like a beat up straw hat or something?
I mean, don't you have a plaid shirt?
I do have a plaid shirt on right now. My shirt is actually more. This shirt is actually maybe one of the more.
Their hair's all bleached from being in the sun all day.
This shirt is maybe a little farmy. I will give you that.
No, it's not. I wouldn't consider this to be farmy.
But like, is he referring to Western wear? Is he referring to like blue collar, like workwear type stuff? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't. I'm not sure farmer is the best description.
No,
like,
I would say tradesman. Just tradesman.
When
generally.
I think of a farmer, I think of like Farmer Fran from Waterboy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
So I don't know.
Well, it says Double Knee's father was an actual carpenter's pant, constantly dragged and scuffed around until patchwork was needed. His brothers, once worn by a plumber, one by a roofer, point out his lack of wear and tear and call him fancy pants when he visits home. Double Knee knows that he was lucky to avoid such a rugged life, but he sometimes wishes he had a hard-earned rip or two. I kind of identify with that just on a human basis.
Totally.
I just feel so soft.
I mean, this whole, I think this column is written so brilliantly. It's very funny, but it riffs on like a couple of very modern topics. One, I think, which started with millennials and kind of will certainly trickle down into Gen Z as well. But just like and they meme this too, right? I think that like, your grandfather like fought in World War II and you're like ordering an oat milk matcha latte from Erewhon, right? Like they're just like the dichotomy, the drastic differences between what previous generations did and what they cared about and what they had to work on, and like what we're dealing with and complaining about and doing on a daily basis. So it plays into that, the mirror there.
Yeah, it sounds like, from what I know about my grandparents, I never met any of my grandparents because I was just born simply too late.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they just partied a lot. From what my parents tell me, it's like, oh yeah, they were just partying, it sounds like.
Then the other thing that it does, and like I've actually had a conversation with this with an online friend, what's up, Neil? But this idea that like almost everything that you do fashion wise is like some form of cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you're like wearing the plaid shirt and like, well, that's like a farmer's shirt, or you're wearing the double knee pants and it's like, well, that's for workwear. That's for like real carpenters and people doing work. Or you're wearing boots and it's like, well, no, that's actually for a real cowboy. Or you're wearing like, an M65 four-pocket jacket. It's like, that's for a real soldier. That's a military jacket, right? So it's like everything that you wear or do with regards to like fashion at this point is pulled from something that was essentially like functional and for a job at one point.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But all that to say, like, yes, there's I'm sure you've heard the phrase like blue collar stolen valor with all the Carhartt and double knees and all that type of stuff. So it captures in a very this article captures in a very creative way some of these concepts.
I mean, I've been appropriating Carhartt for as long as I can remember. I remember in early high school, before I could even drive, I remember I had acquired a Carhartt sweatshirt from somebody that was like the most comfortable sweatshirt I'd ever worn. And I thought to myself, like, I'm probably going to be appropriating Carhartt for the rest of my life. It's just, it's a high quality brand. And now that I actually own 0 work in progress pieces, and I've traditionally in my life never owned one. I've never had one, even though I've liked some. I've even put some on my wish list here. But yeah, I've always been a Carhartt workwear appropriator. That's just who I am. That's what I do.
Well, Tiny Beanie's father teases him because he's only ever worn on the tippy top of his human's head.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough look.
You don't even cover his ears, he says. It is an insult to the family name.
I kind of want a tiny beanie, if I'm being honest.
Honestly, you
The beard helps tie it together.
100%.
It gives lobster fishermen.
Yeah. You have far more of the look for Tiny Beanie.
I think I can pull it off, and to be honest, I think I have the confidence to pull it off because I think I feel comfortable in a beanie because of skiing and stuff like that. Like it makes it a lot easier for me to feel confident going in when I've done it my entire life, and so I could see myself getting a tiny beanie. Maybe Christmas time I'll get a tiny beanie and take it for a spin.
Do I regret finding my place in this world atop a cortado drinking dude who hangs skateboard decks on his walls as art?
Hello, it's me.
Not at all. He and I are simply doing our best, even if our fathers and forefathers might not understand this modern lifestyle.
that paragraph alone is biting when it comes to my life.
Have you hung a skateboard deck up yet?
I've gotten approval from my wife to.
Okay.
I have just simply not found any decks that I like enough to do.
Okay.
And the ones that I did find were like $800 a piece, so I decided against it.
That was the Hermes skateboard decks?
No, it's not those ones. I don't even know what they were, but I was like, I kind of want to do this. And I got approval. I never did it though. I can confirm that my drink order of choice lately at coffee shops has been a cortado though. So I'm scum.
I like a cortado. Here's my problem with a cortado. It's over in 2 sips.
How fast does it get lukewarm though? That's why I love it. That's why I love it. I can't do the too hot of coffee. I need it to go room temp quick.
Okay.
But you're right.
But I feel like that's one of the reasons why I always used to like cappuccinos.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like I just don't feel like I get the bang for my buck. Like this $5 drink's gonna be gone in 45 seconds once it reaches room temperature in a couple of minutes.
I mean, I try at this point to not even think about buying coffee in public. If I can only drink coffee at home, that's what I will do.
Why is that?
Because I just think it's overpriced.
Oh, okay.
And most of the time, like the places that I would go to aren't places that I'm like psyched to go get coffee from. They're places that I go to often where I'm like, do I need to tip this person on the iPad for making the same coffee drink or a similar coffee drink to what I was going to make? I'm not really that into that right now.
Yeah, I feel you.
I mean, shout out to cafes though.
Love cafes. Love coffee shops. I love overpaying for coffee. It's just a thing I like to do.
I think I just need to get back into the game. Ever since the pandemic, I've pretty much refused to buy coffee out in public.
Okay.
That's just who I am now. Can we talk about a good friend of the podcast?
Sure.
Or as our good friends at Men in Blazers call them, GFOPs. You're pretty much besties with Harry Styles ever since he entered the Austin equation.
That's right. Yeah.
He's got a Gucci collection. I'm not a noted Gucci boy. Like, it's just not something I really care about in general, but I do like some high-end stuff, and I do like when there's celebrity collaborations on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really like the most is just really the main photos that Harry's doing in this drop right here. His double-breasted blazer with the biggest lapels. He's doing something that I wish all men could do at this point, which is carry a handbag.
Mm.
And he's got the neckerchief just absolutely working. I'm just into it.
Yeah. He is. Look, Harry also just has like he's got a perfect frame for all this designer stuff.
Yeah.
He's not too tall, but he's kind of lanky.
Yeah.
And it all just like all the flowy Gucci stuff, the wider leg kind of flare suit trousers and the big DB jackets, like it just drapes on him. Like if anybody epitomizes the term drape, it's Harry Styles and Gucci.
You're not wrong.
That's always what stands out to me.
Like
but
the big shoulders, like I'm just jealous. Barrett, I really wish that this was more acceptable in my life right now, or not more acceptable. I wish it was just more welcomed in my life, that I wouldn't get roasted by the squad. I really just want a high quality leather handbag that I can just carry my shit around in. It's really annoying that like I can't do this in life right now because I'll get made. I can't even wear my denim shirt into the office without people making fun of me for looking like I do pottery.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just by producer Randy.
That's a damn shame. Yeah, I'm gonna scold the squad for that.
You should. There's a couple people you might need to talk to about this denim shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out AYR though.
Just question though on Harry Styles Gucci collection.
Yes.
What's Harry Styles about it?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He looks good in it.
Here's where I'm coming from. I can't afford any Gucci. I'm not regularly shopping Gucci.
Correct.
Anything like that. But if I were, I'm not sure that I would like. This would just be more Gucci that I was interested in.
Like you already would own, in order for you to buy something that was Harry Styles Gucci, you would already have to be so brand loyal to Gucci that you would already have a lot. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that the addition of Harry Styles' name on these Gucci clothes is
Yeah.
not pushing me over any type of edge if I'm already a Gucci shopper. I'm like, oh, hey, more of the Gucci that I like. Does that make sense?
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Because this
To the point where I think that if I was a Gucci person and I already like bought Gucci, I don't think that wearing something that is celebrity branded from Gucci is a draw for me. If anything, I think it would be a deterrent for me if I could afford something like that.
I'll put it another way. At this point, most of Gucci is Harry Styles Gucci.
I mean,
he's the muse. He's the
yeah. I was gonna say,
right. Like he is he's in all the campaigns. He's the forefront. He's like besties with Alessandra Michelle. Like, right. So it just I don't know. That's the maybe he got some input, right? Like maybe he got to like sit down in the design room and they like picked the fabrics together and all that type of stuff, which I guess is cool. But to your point, if I'm if I'm just like securing the bag left and right and waltzing around, dropping retail prices on Gucci, it might actually be a deterrent. Like, I don't know, the Harry Styles Gucci, like.
It says the inspiration behind the collection is to expand the vision of fashion and relax the rigidity. I would have said rigidness, but that's just the.
No, I'm not sure rigidness is a word.
I don't think it is. I'm not saying it should be. I'm just saying I think I would have been gun shy on what they used of the masculine gender expression, which I think it could probably use. If I had to make a choice one way or the other, I'd rather dress like in this more like kind of relaxed, like gender bender kind of way than doing like the bespoke, like tailored suit, Italian, like all of that kind of vibe. Does that make sense? That was explained in a horrible way.
No, this is like it's in pretty sharp contrast to like what we think of as like traditional menswear, suiting and tailoring, which.
It's just more fun,
especially for us. When we came up was like during this era where everything was like extremely tailored and slim and purposeful and sharp and all of that and what Gucci has been doing for the last several years, but especially with Harry at the helm of a lot of the campaigns, is like this like ultra flowy, like oversized, drapey, wide-legged, like just very louche. Look, and it's just, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Do you have any celebrities who you would just love to see a collection from at this point?
Do I have any celebrities that I would love to see? Yeah, I
have a new favorite celebrity.
There was a Netflix travel show that came out in 2020, starring my guy Zac Efron, and he was clearly sponsored by Ruka.
Oh, okay.
He just wore nothing but Ruka.
Yeah.
And I just kept waiting for like the Zac Efron Ruka collabo to drop.
I would have loved that. Love that.
Like a bunch of like flat brim trucker hats and like very tight t-shirts and like kind of like skinny Ruka joggers. I was waiting for
There's
that
some
drop.
people out there right now who don't even know what brand you're talking about. Because they did what I did for 20 years or however long. RVCA.
RVCA.
Well, yeah, the first time someone told me it was Ruka, I was like, man, that's not intuitive at all. I have a new. Oh, by the way, speaking of, let's F around for a second.
Mind
if we F around for a second?
F around? Yeah.
I watched on the way to LA on my flight. I downloaded a movie at the request of my mother, starring Zac Efron, The Greatest Beer Run Ever.
Okay.
Have you watched this movie?
Not. No.
Barrett, you have to watch this movie
because it's so good, or because it's so bad.
Because it is. I don't want to say it's so good in the grand scheme of things. It is so surprisingly good.
Okay.
That you're like, oh man, I'm really glad I just sat down and watched this movie.
Who's his co-star in that?
I don't know.
I thought it's like Hugh Jackman or something, right?
Oh, Russell Crowe's in it.
Russell Crowe. That's
Bill Murray's in it.
Okay.
Playing the least Bill Murray character I've ever seen played. Like
right.
it's just a very different demeanor from him and different kind of thing. Very well done movie.
Yeah.
For starring Zac Efron and having the name The Greatest Beer Run Ever. Very touching movie.
This is very available. It's on like Netflix or something.
Apple
right?
TV Plus.
Apple TV Plus.
Yep,
okay.
Yep. But I do want to announce that I reluctantly have a new favorite celebrity. I'm a little late to the game as she became very popular a while back. But the more content that I've taken in from her specifically and not the media, the more that I've completely bought in.
You've been doing your own research on her?
I've been doing my own research.
Yeah.
Julia Fox. She is the most unintentionally funny person I've ever seen in my entire life. And I don't even think it's unintentionally funny. I think she knows that she's this like I think she knows exactly what she's doing at all times, and now I just want to see like the random shit she pulls out. Like she pretty much wore like a bikini and chaps to the CFDAs last night, and I was like, she's just out here being wild. She's an absolute unhinged wild girl, and I love it.
That just made me think of the Beanie column again, where he talks about how Chore Jacket, like any great artist, has a trust fund. Because if you, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on this, but it's like it's kind of like well known in like the New York art scene. Lena Dunham, for example, is one of these people who's like she's a trust fund kid whose parents are like well-to-do artists who are also trust fund people.
Yeah.
So it's like they're like if you to be there are of course exceptions to the rule, but it's kind of like it feels like a kind of like well-known just a well-known thing that like if you're a New York artist, if you just get to like waltz around the streets of New York looking shabby chic all the time and like painting in your 400 square foot
in your loft
and studio that you have that's exclusively for your art and your sculptures, like you're already super super rich. That's how you got to be an artist.
Yeah, this is fair.
That's why you get to be an artist. The reason that I thought about that is because does Julia Fox have like is she one of these people? Is she like where did she come from?
I don't know.
Who was she
I didn't know
before Kanye dated her?
She was dating Josh Safdie, who she was the muse.
Okay.
Per the viral clip. Uncle John's. And I don't know. I think she's just always kind of been this relevant person, and but I say always as if it's been for like decades. Like I think she's just become this relevant person in the art world who might like date some people. I don't really know like what her special talents are other than being hilarious on TikTok. Like it's just hilarious to me to see her like just kind of rattle people's cages by being this eccentric socialite who dates people and is just kind of funny. Like she's the most recent guest on Emrata's new podcast, and I'm probably going to listen to that. I feel like they'd be funny together.
It sounds like she is not one of these trust fund artists that I was talking about, but she is maybe from she's born in Italy, but she's just a model and actress, and her breakout was in Uncut Gems, the Safdie brothers film.
Okay, she was in that, right?
She was in Uncut Gems.
I didn't pay enough attention to Uncut Gems, if I'm being honest.
That's where she broke out. It says she's like the affair. She's having an affair with
I guess I didn't realize that, but maybe she's got like bleached eyebrows and like much different looks than she probably did then.
So I'm glad you brought up Emrata's podcast because it feels like we should just do a note on Emrata's podcast.
I'm fine with that.
How do we feel about every celebrity, model, actor, famous person doing a podcast now?
I don't want to discount anyone's voice in the world. I don't want to. Some people don't need a microphone in front of them. I'm probably one of those people. I think Emrata has more to say than a lot of other celebrities that are getting podcasts, whether you agree with it or not. I think she does have a point of view that is worthy of listening to, but there's other people out there that are super famous and have a lot of Instagram followers who have recently, done a podcast like, your Kim Kardashians, where I'm like, I feel like we have enough media surrounding you. Like you already have a show on Hulu. We already know what's going on in your world. Like, I don't know how much you can actually do by just adding a podcast to your repertoire.
I'm with you. I think, everybody should be able to start a podcast. Literally everybody is able to start a podcast now. So no shade at all the famous people that are doing that. And I think eventually, all these famous people can put together a pitch. They can bring on some advertisers and they can launch a podcast that is immediately, charting and successful and all that. I think eventually the good ones will shake out and the cream will rise to the top, and a bunch of them won't have podcasts anymore because people stop listening to it and there aren't any more advertising dollars to be had. Right. Cause my note on it is that I have listened to some famous people podcasts and they're bad. Some of them are bad.
I don't even entertain them. I don't think they care enough. I think a lot of them don't care.
Most notably, I listened to I was very excited for this. The Jenna Fisher and what's her name? Angela something podcast. That's like a rewatch, like an office rewatch podcast.
I don't like these.
It is so bad.
I don't like these. The reason I don't like these is because, and I don't care what show it is. Like I've seen numerous shows and they recap the show that they did. And I'm just like, you guys got to move on. You got to move on. Like you're creative people, you're actors. You have other, and like, I know that you have creative bones in your body. You don't need to go back and just rehash the most successful part of your career.
I don't like, I think they can, again, though, I think they can be hit or miss. Like I've seen clips on Instagram of the one that the Always Sunny crew is doing.
Yeah.
And that looks really good and funny because those people are really good and funny. And if they had not created Always Sunny in Philadelphia, probably would have ended up as podcasters.
Probably would have had a fire podcast.
You know
honestly.
what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
Does Rob McElhenney and Charlie Day and Glenn Howerton, like, do those guys not seem like dudes that would have a wacky podcast?
I mean, I'm just glad that like the cast of Friends, like some of them have things going on.
Yeah, they have not cashed in on this yet?
Exactly. Yeah. Like I'm glad that like Jennifer Aniston is doing like the morning show and stuff like that. Because otherwise, I don't need that. I don't need to see that at the top of the rankings every day.
Okay, but to circle back to Emily Ratajkowski's podcast, I'm all for having a podcast. I was disappointed that in like the preview clip, they just like she's talking to Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy, and like they had to include this in the promo clip. Emily Ratajkowski talking about having morning sex. Like you didn't have to go. You did not have to put her in the clip talking. Like it just seemed, it turned me off of it because it was such an obvious pander.
I feel like that was a discussion.
I don't care. I don't care that great. Talk about it on the podcast. Fine. I'm not saying don't talk about things, but to like use that clip as the one that they're like, ooh, no, Emily Ratajkowski said morning sex. We have to, that's going to draw all the dudes in.
Yeah. They're trying to get the dude crowd. They're trying to get that.
I found that off-putting, and like, as somebody that obviously is like well known for essentially like standing up for herself and for women's rights, I just kind of like wish she'd been like, nah, don't use that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Use the clip where like I'm talking about anything else.
Yeah. And like, she like,
does that make sense?
Yeah. She has more to say than just talking about like sex. I mean, I know that sex is probably going to be a major part of her podcast just because there's so many nuances to it. But like,
Randy, cut a clip of Will and I talking about morning sex. Let's just reel in the listeners.
No, I watch soccer in the mornings. That's what I do. Barrett, I did something on the Retail Therapy Pod the other day. On retail.pod on Instagram. And I asked our listeners if any vibes have shifted for them lately. Can I read you some of the responses we've gotten?
Yeah, yes.
I'm not going to name any.
This is our version of the Perfectly Imperfect.
Oh, kind of is.
Right?
Kind of is. It's our listener version. Yeah. I'm not going to do any ads because I don't know if people intended to have this read on the episode. So I'm not going to, reveal anybody. Yeah. But going forward, now that I've done this, maybe if we do it in the future, just know that your name might get read. Someone said zip up hoodies with random or niche logos on the come up out of nowhere. I don't like a zip up hoodie. It's not for me. They bunch at my stomach, and make me look like I have a stomach penis.
Right. Yeah.
Not a good look for me.
Yeah, you gotta throw a double zipper on that thing so you can unzip from the bottom a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not good for me.
They are. I feel like they are potentially poised for a little comeback season. They got beaten into the ground by like the Zuckerbergs of the world. It was like
that's the thing. Right? I'm associated with like nerdy tech bros.
That was it. Got super associated with like flip flops and oversized jeans for like the tech bro crowd.
When I picture someone in one, no matter, I don't care who it is, I just feel like it makes them look a little like schlumpy.
Yeah.
Which is the Zuckerberg effect.
Like all things, they've gotten more cropped and a little boxier, and now I think they might be poised for comeback season.
Okay, I could get on board then.
Yeah.
Someone said HEB changed the design of their reusable plastic bags. Something has definitely shifted. Randy confirms.
Wow.
Randy confirms. Someone noted they got Birkenstock Bostons and have been workshopping their Negroni Spagliato recipes.
That's a retail pod listener right there.
Yeah, we got you. Let's see. It says this is a struggle that we've been having. Ready to start dressing for the fall, just to have it be in the highs of 60s and 70s last week in Cleveland.
Ooh.
It's brutal down here right now. It's 80 today.
Yeah.
You don't need that. You don't need that shirt on right now.
I don't.
I didn't even pack it.
I'm a podcaster. I had to look like a farmer.
I know. I regret not looking more farmery today.
You should have looked more farmery.
Yeah. There's people. Someone said they need Barrett to coach them on wearing Blundstones. Cuffed pants, get them hemmed.
If you think your pants are too long, get them hemmed.
Yeah, just go get them hemmed, dog.
But I'll drop some cuff notes. If you got to roll more than twice,
Then
you
go to the
you
seamstress.
definitely need a hem at that point.
That's a good rule.
Yeah.
Put that in the retail therapy 10 commandments.
And then also if you are cuffing, if you're finding yourself having to cuff denim with Blundstones because your pants are too slim and they're doing like a weird stacking thing on top of Blundstones, you need to start looking for something with like 7.5 inch minimum hem opening.
Okay.
And really an eight is better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good intel.
Yeah.
I don't even look at hem openings.
Very important measurement.
Someone said, what are our guys' thoughts on vests, puffers, and traditional fleece?
Dude, not shameless plug, but I grabbed one of the new like kind of like Western styled, it's got like the Western yoke, two-tone it's called a rounder vest from Howler Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And we updated it for fall 22. And like I'm obsessed with it. Like it's very I threw that thing on and I was like, this is the coolest vest I have.
I love a vest.
That's my plug for vests right now. But it's
some people get down on vests. I will always love the utility of a vest.
What I like on vests right now, I talked about that engineered garments cover vest, which is not really in the same world as like a fleece or puffer. But what I like, I threw on my I've got a Patagonia like chinchilla, the same thing that they make the snap tees out of vest. Mm-hmm. I threw that on earlier in the season, and like the neck was like up here, like up like at my chin. Way too tall.
I bought a new vest this year.
I'm over the tall neck.
I'm having the same issue. Yeah. I bought a new vest this year, and the neck is just crushing my chin.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
I feel claustrophobic in it. I'm gonna have to go back to my old vest.
Put it on my list of outs. Tall necks.
tall necks on vests.
Yeah,
you're out.
Out.
Someone did say that they went to Italy for 9 days and they're now showing copious amounts of ankle. And we will close with somebody saying, please discuss Banana Republic trying to be a luxury brand. Do you have any takes on that? That kind of started happening under the radar for me. And then I went to their website today and I was like, oh, wow, things have changed.
They have.
They went from Gap to Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, they did. The website is here. I think I have it pulled up because I was looking at some things. This is I'm gonna take a quick shot at J. Crew and Banana Republic here. Stop excluding the nice things from the promos. That's
yes. I have so many complaints about online retailers right now.
If it's co-branded, that's one thing. Like I don't expect all the new Beams Plus times J. Crew stuff to be.
I'm sure there are things in the contract of when they do the co-branded stuff
included on the collaboration, but like. Don't tempt me with the leather pants and like this beautiful suede jacket and then be like, oh, but when we run the 30% off promo, not this guy.
Nope.
Not this one.
Nope. Not for me.
Can't have that because like I'm already too conditioned to only purchase your product with a big sale. And so there's like, I'm not paying for this. I'm not paying full price for this.
No
matter how badly I want it or how reasonable the retail price may be.
So
partially that's on me, but also it's on you. Like, throw me a bone. Give me 15, 20%. Don't even have to be the 40.
Anything.
Okay. So
I've recently gotten into like Drake's more.
Yeah.
The British company, mainly because of ALD's collaboration.
Right,
and now I'm just on their mailing list and now I just see stuff. They have like their USA site. As we all know, like the pound is not doing very well right now. So I'm trying to absolutely buy stuff on their site at a discount, but nope. Have to go to the USA site and pay way more money, like an insane amount of money more. Yeah. I'm just over it.
Okay. So I like, look, there are things that I clearly have had. I'm a tab boy. Everybody knows that about me. Banana Republic is making appearances in my tabs. That's huge for them. The website is not, it looks good. I do not find it easy to use.
I agree. It's not a website that I enjoyed scrolling when I first got on it. It was a lot.
It's just a little funky. Like I want to be able to like click, like look, I can't click this. I want to click on that picture. I'm trying to click on this picture so that it pops up and then I can like scroll through the pictures. It's not letting me do that. So I just have to scroll all the way down. But then once I'm here in these other pictures, guess what? I've got none of the information anymore.
But I feel like this is how like luxury brands that aren't luxury brands operate their websites, like your Zara's.
Yeah.
Like Zara is like the most difficult website for me to figure out.
And then here on like you're going to be luxury. Okay, well then you're going to need to give me also you don't want to give me any promo on this jacket. Well, I'm going to need the actual measurements of the item instead of just like the length of a size medium. And I'm not talking about this bullshit body measurement chart that all these that these brands give.
That doesn't apply to
I
every
mean,
single
like
item.
you got to go the Mr. Porter Essence style, like measure the product, people, and put it on the website.
Barrett, as somebody who
If
used
you want
to have
any
to measure,
chance of me spending $600 on this jacket.
as somebody who used to have to measure the products, worst fucking job in the world. Like it was my least favorite thing in the world to do. I absolutely hated it. It was so miserable to do. I think everyone knew that I hated doing it, so I think they finally just took it off my plate. But it was hands down my least favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
But I agree. You need them on there, especially if something costs $650. Those are the listener vibe shifts. Let's close things out today. Let's do the wish list updates of imminent cops. You want me I'm going to start off today.
Okay.
I've got 2 updates. Neither are wish list. Both. What do we call it? Not imminent cops.
The where you've already bought it?
Oh, I've already bought it. I've already bought it. I was going to put it on my wish list, and then as I was doing it, I thought, I'm just doing this. I'm talking about I bought some table lamps.
Okay.
Something I've been trying to do lately is allocate any money that I spend on random stuff. I've been trying to go much more home-centric as opposed to clothing. I don't need more clothing at this point. If anything, I need to get rid of stuff. We went to a hotel in Italy called Le Serenus, which is a hotel that has a bar that is called Aldo's. And when we were at Aldo's, we sat there and I looked at this tap light that was sitting on the table in front of us that was very, I don't have a better word than expensive feeling.
Okay.
It was very heavy. It was a very nice, like brushed metal lamp. And I was like, I would love to have this because it was portable. You didn't need a plug for it. You could just tap the light, turn it on, do whatever. And it took me a really long time to find this lamp online. When I finally found it, I compared all the photos that I took of it at the restaurant, and I bought 2 of them.
So how did you go about tracking it down? What was your Sherlock Holmes methodology?
I just Googled every different way of trying to figure out what a brushed metal tap light thing would be. And I felt like an idiot because when I just Googled tap light, it was one of the first 10 results. And I was like, oh, I think they're very common at certain hotels based on the website. But
okay.
I'm very happy about this because if there's one thing I hate, it's like overhead lighting, bright lamps. I hate having like too much light, and these are very moody lights, and it felt very satisfying to find something on vacation that I kind of fell in love with and finally be able to get it. And now I hope every time I think of that light, I think of the cocktail that Sally and I had on the patio.
So where these are table lamps, but they're hanging?
No, you charge them with the USB cord. And then you can just bring them anywhere. And so I think we're going to keep them on our bedside table plugged in. And then if I ever want to go read on the couch or something, I can kind of just take it with me and just have a little light source.
Am I on the right? Oh, I see now. Okay. I thought that this
thought this was like huge?
No. Yes. And also hanging from the ceiling.
No.
Okay.
And I couldn't not get them. But I also have another update, Barrett.
Yeah.
I bought a pair of shoes that I had been looking at for a long time.
Yeah.
I put these on my wish list. I guess it had to have been a few months ago.
Yeah, you did.
It was the Adidas fucking awesome Experiment ones. I found a website, a skate shop that had a price break on them. The fact that they had them in stock, I was very happy about to see that they were on sale. There's a small part of me that does think that I might never get these shoes in the mail, but I finally did it, and I get to check them off my wish list, and that is all I'm doing to my wish list this week. I'm adding something that I already bought, and I'm checking something off that I bought.
Nice. Love to hear that. Always nice to pull trigger on stuff, and you'll have to keep us updated on how now that you have these. Now it's like one of those things, right? You get new gym clothes, you feel like you're a little more obligated to go to the gym. So you're going to have to let us know how the shredding goes in these.
I've been shredding a decent amount. I've been feeling good about it. I'm not taking very long rides or anything, but I'll get home from work, see that I got like 10 minutes, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go take a little rip. And I've been kind of enjoying it.
I feel like you could put together a nice little reel of some skating videos of you, even if they're just POV, just like
I'm so bad right
carving
now.
turns,
I'm
just
terrible.
carving some turns.
It is crazy to I was watching SLS, the Street League series, which is kind of like it's kind of the most digestible like competition. It's on YouTube. They got all the good skaters there. Been watching a lot of that lately, and it's insane how much I can tell that my fashion sense is shifting in the skateboard direction.
Mm,
Like,
mm.
just the things that I like, I'm like, "Oh, I was just like, this guy's wearing something." I'm like, "Oh, I just kinda was looking at something like that recently the other day." And, like, everything they've been wearing lately has been baggy, which is obviously on trend just in general, but it's like, it's just perpetuating it for me. It's like, "Will, you gotta start wearing wider pants, my man."
Mm, mhm, mhm.
You got anything on your list, Barrett?
Yeah, yeah. I'll talk about a couple things as well here. Man, we're going long for a episode with no ads, but that's
Hey,
just
we had
we
a
kind of
long
owed it to you.
hiatus.
Yeah, we kind of owe it. All right. So first one, this is my actual wish list edition. Actually, no, I'm gonna switch this around. This is my imminent cop. This is an imminent cop because I need this for Thanksgiving hosting duties.
Okay.
I've long been without an apron.
Okay.
And one has finally, I think, come onto the scene, and I'm like, okay, this is the one. And it's because part of it, the reason is that it's a brand that I respect and trust, and which is Engineered Garments, and it's here on one of the shops that I know we like, Canoe Club out of Boulder. Very very simple, black ripstop, and I was a little hesitant at first on this because I was like, but it's got no pockets. It's got no external pockets.
Ooh.
And like, don't I want like a place to put like my meat thermometer or like drop a little something in it?
Your cell phone.
Whatever it might be. But then Laura told me, she was like, no pockets is better because pockets on an apron, they're just
Food.
going to get filled with food and crumbs and
It's true.
flour and all and grease and fat. Like nothing is better.
Fuck, that's a good point.
Yeah. And then you think about like the bear, right? I don't think there's any pockets on those blue aprons in the kitchen.
Nah, that's a good call.
So this is
I didn't see anyone dressed as the bear for Halloween this year.
wild.
A layup of a costume too.
Yeah, it's too bad. So black cotton ripstop apron, Engineered Garments. I'm nearly positive that Canoe Club is about to start running Black Friday deals, so I'm just waiting for that. And then this is a cop. This is a cop because I'm gonna be.
You're about to go dumb on Black Friday season.
I mean, well,
You're gonna be in your bookmarks just tooling around.
Who's to say? I will be doing that. Okay. The second thing, I told you to put a pin in this, so I'm coming back to it. This weekend is a primetime University of Texas football game, as we've already mentioned. It's suddenly like a big deal matchup. TCU's ranked super high, undefeated. Texas back in the rankings. Could be a potential Big 12 championship on the line for Texas. If they win, they could still get there. And I don't have any orange outerwear. I don't have any burnt orange outerwear.
Okay.
So the last 2 weeks has been spent. I'm looking at the forecast. And I'm like, oh shit! This is suddenly like a very big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
I cannot stress this enough. We don't get cold weather football games.
No.
Happens like once every other year, maybe.
I don't know if I've ever been.
And then
to
if
a
we do
cold
get
one.
one, it's like the throwaway at the end of the year against Kansas on Thanksgiving or some bullshit like that. You know what I mean? So this is a very big deal. So over the course of scrolling and shopping, this is my wish list edition because it's not what I ended up grabbing for the game. I grabbed something a little bit more functional and a lot less fun. But we've talked about the brand Corridor before, and this is just 100% wool braided cardigan in a color that they're calling umber brown, but that looks a lot like burnt orange to me. And it just is really, really speaking to where I want my fall vibes to go.
I would be so happy if I was at the game and you showed up wearing this.
So here's the thing: this is too nice for the game, right? Like
you're gonna get some Coors Heavy. I
don't want to get Coors Heavy on this. And the other thing that I just wanted to say about this is like, when I started looking for burnt orange outerwear sweaters, it is all over the place right now.
I believe it.
Like this, like kind of like brownish orange umber color is everywhere. Like no matter what you want, sweaters, t-shirts, outerwear, jackets, corduroy, chore coats, like it is all over the damn place. So there's a whole plethora of options in this color. And I've always had like a hesitancy to procuring burnt orange stuff that's like part of my just like actual wardrobe because it's my alma mater's color.
I understand that a little bit.
And so I don't want like, sometimes I think it would be I've never known how to feel about just like having a burnt orange cardigan that I just wear because like I like the cardigan.
Yeah.
But this is pushing me over the edge.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I saw something, and it's in a place you mentioned earlier, at By George in Austin, Texas, and I saw something that I've never seen recreated. It had to have been 2 years ago. I saw that they had an elder statesman UT sweater
Mhm.
that with a longhorn on it.
Yeah.
Is that something that would be commissioned by the store itself, or did they ever put out a collegiate collection?
That may have been commissioned by the store itself. They have done NBA stuff.
Yes, I know that.
And By George used to have a couple of the San Antonio Spurs elder statesman cashmere sweaters.
Yeah, I was in there looking for gifts for. I was just kind of like looking for a gift, and trying to get ideas. And I was at the Lamar location, and I was like, "Is that seriously an elder statesman UT sweater? I can't believe they would make something like this just out of nowhere."
Yeah.
And I've Googled it before to show Sally, and I couldn't find any photos of it literally anywhere. And I was like, this must only exist there.
I bet it was a one of one that the store had commissioned, basically.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. I know they work with small retailers.
Yeah.
They have. So I'm not that surprised, but I was honestly, if they actually made that, I feel like they could find a market down here where they could sell 1,000 of those one season.
I mean, I don't know about 1,000 at a $1,000 clip, but boy, shouts to the West Austinite that's just like, tromping around in their plush ass living room wearing that thing.
I know.
That sounds nice.
I know. Pretty cozy. Pretty cozy. Well, I think that's all she wrote this week, Barrett. I don't have anything else. I'm kind of gassed right now.
Dude, this was kind of like Retail Pod's Jordan flu game.
I know. Neither of us had the flu. We're being safe with our coworkers. We're taking precautions.
I think we both came into this pod feeling less than stellar. Yeah. And we just churned one out, baby.
Yeah, I've annoyingly drank every single night since last Thursday. So I'm looking forward to a much needed AFD today, an alcohol-free day. I'm very happy about this.
Love it.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. As always, if you are a listener of this, please go subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can find any link to anything in the description of this episode. Go make it happen. But we'll see you around. We'll see you around.